Yes, please.
I would like to ask you if you are in any way similar to any character you had played ever as a person.
Am I similar to any character I've played? Well...
Now we'll truly find out who you are.
I mean, the thing is, you know, I've said it before, but, you know, a violinist has his Stradivarius or whatever, and he can put it in the case and take it, you know, and lock it up at the end of the day or at the end of the concert. This is what I have to work with. What's in here and what's in here, and that's the sum of who I am and what I think and who I was taught by and what I believe and how that changes or doesn't. And so, yeah, I'm visible in all of them somewhere. These are and they're my choices a lot of the time, or my willingness to be led by another human being. Yeah, I am my own instrument.
He could have said Rasputin, but he did not.
Well, no, there's a very interesting case in point, because, of course, Rasputin, is what I was saying up there about playing people who really lived. Rasputin is a character who's mightily misunderstood. He's thought to be this, you know, arch, menacing, mad creature. In fact, were he alive now, he'd have a very successful practice in Harley Street, or whatever the Polish equivalent of that is, because what he was doing was hypnotizing, and nobody knew what that was then. They thought it was mad magic. Now he'd be earning a lot of money.
The lady behind you, yes.
I would like to ask you about the narrator.
About what, sir?
Narrator.
Oh, right.
It's opportunity to do something different or a hobby job like acting. I mean, help I fish or in bubble.
These are things that I don't know who anybody knows what. So, being a narrator. I think if you're being a narrator on a film, you have to get yourself out of it. You know, you have to just be a channel of information. So, the good news is that if you're a narrator, you don't have to learn it. You can read it. I don't really know how to answer the question. You just have to be very clear and clean and efficient. Well, ask in Polish and then we'll have it translated.
Was it an opportunity to create something different from what you usually do, or just a job like any other?
I don't know. I was asked to do something and I read it and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And that week I was free and so I did it. Lots of actors narrate things. Yeah, it's part of the job possibilities, I guess. I haven't done it very often. I don't have a very interesting answer to your question.
Do you have any urge to give voice to say, animals in animated films? Birds, maybe?
Well, I was a fish. A very small fish in that film.
There was a lady in the middle, yes.
What is more satisfying for you, working as an actor or as a director?
That question has already been asked. Pay attention, young lady.
I like them both, and I hate them both.
Actually, this was a new answer. So if any of you want to ask any of the questions again, feel free to do so. There's a question right here.
Going back to the beginning of your career, can you remember
question had to do with whether he can still remember the audition pieces for the Royal Academy of the Dramatic Arts, going all the way back to his early years.
I don't remember the words, but I do remember the audition pieces, yeah, because you're very aware that this is a moment that might change your life if you get accepted or refused, you know, and I'm very involved with the Royal Academy still, and I feel for them when they come in. But, you know, I guess it's the name of the game. You decide you want to do it, so you're going to have to write it, get judged, and be accepted or slung out from day one, really. I do remember my pieces, yes. But I don't remember the words.
But they got him in, so if you want to take notes. We have about 10 minutes left, at least within the allotted time. There's a question in the front row, then there's a question on the stairway, and 2 questions up there. Yes, please.
My name is Luciana. Maybe I have a very extraordinary question, but I will try to ask.
Go ahead.
I'm from Georgia. Georgia is a very, very little country. It's 4 years I'm here. And here I have more opportunities to do something. So, for example, if I'm a very talented person, I have great ideas, I have great scripts. Do I have a chance to contact some directors? I don't know. Some people, because I am trying to contact somebody about 6 years and there is no answer. And because of that, 1 year ago, I began recording movie from my pocket, and maybe next year I will try to show it on camera. But at the same time, I want to do more with people who are professionals. So I don't know. Is it possible to contact with somebody?
If you have a script right now, bring it here.
Now I'm recording this voice. I have a lot of ideas. So
You're talking about scripts you want to direct or scripts you've written? Which?
I have a script done in English, and they are waiting for directors. So I don't know what to do next.
Well, you have to do what everybody does, which is to send the script to the agent of the director.
4 years, there is no answer. But I'm sure that the scripts are very, very great because they are not. Sorry, but I'm sure that they're great because they are not like the old movies which we can see nowadays. I'm a very extraordinary person, so sorry.
You just have to persevere, honestly. You have to, you know, kick the doors down. Keep leaving it at the agent's door, you know, every week. Go in and leave it again.
You also we will be colleagues.
Oh, okay.
Question on the stairway. Yes, please.
You mentioned how working in movies and theatre is quite similar, but what's the big adjustment you've got to make from working in theatre, like directing movies on as well as other roles? Is that the same way?
It's a question of what's the difference between directing theatre and film? Well, I think it's a question of time organization, really. You've got a lot of people breathing down your neck if you're directing a movie. They want decisions. And the decisions are all based on a lot of money.
Would you say you had more control in directing theatre?
Sorry?
Would you say you had more control in directing theatre?
It's a different kind of control. You know you have a period of rehearsals and you know when you have to get it ready by. So it's you and the actors, and then there'll be a conversation with designers, of course, going along at the same time. But the end result you can get to in a more measured way, I suppose. But you never know quite what problems are going to get thrown at you or what hurdles you're going to have to jump over. But at least you're there from, I don't know, say 10 in the morning till 6 at night, and you're all involved, and it's only going to take place in this one room. I mean, it's kind of obvious, really, that if you've got 3 days for a major scene in a room at Blenheim Palace, and then the designers have to be able to turn it round to look as if it's 2 rooms, and we've only got an hour to do that turnaround. Somehow or other, you have to organize your time so that you're talking to the actors so efficiently and getting them to hit a mark. And it's just a hugely different set of agendas. And also maybe you have to have made a lot of decisions beforehand on film, and maybe in the theatre you don't. Maybe you can discover stuff much more as you go along. It's such a, directing or acting is, to some extent, you can predict what the job is, and to some extent, it's very moment by moment. So there are moment by moment discoveries that are thrilling and depressing in both of them. It's not an either or.
There are several questions at the top. First, the gentleman who is sitting there.
I got consistent, and then I didn't hear the bit after.
Please stand up and speak loudly, if you could, please.
Nope. I assume they'll all be tall. He's asking me if there are consistent character traits that I look for. I would always look and hope to be surprised. It'd be wonderful not to repeat oneself. So the answer would be no.
There's a lady near the camera. Yes.
Didn't get that.
This you will have to ask tomorrow after he spends another day in Bydgoszcz and his Polish gets a little better. But the question was actually asked in Polish as to whether you ever had some kind of a role that proved to be particularly challenging for you as an actor.
Well, they all are. You always think you're going to get found out. And you always hope that you're not playing safe. So if you decide that trying to be truthful and honest and inventive and all of those words is the way you want to go, then, it's a challenging path to take.
The lady at the very top.
Do you think each film should teach a moral lesson, or is it more about evoking emotions?
Well, I'm not sure what she was referring to, but it's either about teaching a lesson or invoking emotions. But with respect to what? Oh, film.
I think is the main purpose of it. Should a film always teach some kind of moral lesson, or is it more about evoking emotions?
The purpose of cinema. And the meaning of life. We'll get to the meaning of life in just a moment.
I think we should probably go around the room and pick up, I don't know, whatever it is, 300 different answers, and they'd all be true. It could be to entertain. It could be to escape. It could be to inform. It could be to challenge. I don't know. I watched Birdman last night, and it did all of those things, often at the same time. And I think it can annoy you and it can frustrate you, and I don't know the answer.
And we'll be slowly wrapping things up. There's a lady up near the front here.
I just wanted to ask about the logistics of acting and directing at the same time. Do you have to trust in the cinematographer and the ability to tell you when you've got the take you want, or you captured what you were looking for? Is that quite frustrating as a director, like that you can't see it through the lens whilst you shoot?
Yeah, what are the challenges and frustrations of acting and directing at the same time? And yep, you trust your cinematographer hugely, and your first AD hugely, and your fellow actors. And there was a good piece of advice I was given, which proved to be true. It said that the trouble with acting in a film you're directing is you don't give yourself enough takes, because you're embarrassed, so you just want to move on. But yeah, I relied hugely on those people to just say, it's okay, let's move on. Yeah.
Do you know how quickly an hour passes? And we didn't even translate anything into Polish, thus enabling many more of you to ask questions than otherwise would be the case. Since I had the luxury of asking the first question, I am also going to finish this up with a very general question. No, not about the meaning of life, that we can ponder later while sipping, something very suitable. But given how many young people there are in the audience today, even though you've covered a lot of ground, sharing your experiences and dispensing wise advice, is there anything that you would like to tell these young people who are aspiring cinematographers, directors, actors, that might help them in the future above and beyond what already has been said?
I love working with young people in the theatre and on film. The only thing I can say to you is that I'm looking at all of you now, and it's like that long since I was there, your age, listening to some other old person talking, and it's so fast. So I just encourage you to treasure it and honor it, and be brave with what you have, and be curious. You're living in a time where everybody's heads are down looking at their iPhones and iPads and on computers, and I despair of young people forgetting to look up and out, and wherever you are, maybe there should be a moratorium on computers and looking down, and one day a week, lock it away and don't look at it, and make sure you keep asking questions all the time, so that you're only as rich as your imagination, and an imagination doesn't exist all on its own. It has to have stuff put in all the time. So if I ever talk to young actors and they're talking about the challenges of not working, then the only thing I can say to them is, well, if you're not working, you can still read a book and you can know what's going on in the world. You can watch the news, you can have opinions, you can go to an art gallery, you can listen to music. It's all available to you. You just have to respect this, what we're calling about, this instrument. You have to have huge respect for it, and pile it full of information and imagery, so that when you get a script and you're going to direct it, you've got a resource, and there's information in there, and ideas and pictures, and they will be completely personal, because you're all incredibly different people. So that's what I'd say. get your eyes up.
Those of you who were recording it on iPhones, you'll have it available forever. As for the rest of you, I hope you'll remember it forever because it's worth it. And with these wise words, let's thank our incredible guest who's been generous in sharing his time, Alan Rickman.